Bad Batch episodes 1 through 3 have just aired, and for me, the immediate reaction is that I like it. Now I know it might be a mixed bag of reactions, and we'll get into it as we break down the first 3 episodes. As the first episode kicks off, we are brought to Mount Tantis, and for those of you who do not know, in Legends material, Mount Tantis was depicted as a storehouse and laboratory used for Emperor Palpatine to house his collection of Jedi artifacts, cloning technology, and other dark side resources. It was heavily guarded and contained a cloning facility that was capable of producing clones at an accelerated rate. This facility was notable for its role in Grand Admiral Thrawn's plan to create a new army for the Empire and to clone Jedi to serve under his command. Thrawn's use of the cloning facility at Mount Tantis was a key element of his strategy to defeat the New Republic and restore the Empire to its former glory. Reintroducing Mount Tantis into the current Star Wars canon appears to be taking a comparable route. Omega and the other clones residing there undergo daily tests for multiple purposes. Among these purposes is the search for blood capable of harboring what is referred to as an M count, essentially a measure of midichlorian levels. Midichlorians are a microscopic life form in the Star Wars universe that resides within the cells of all living beings. They serve as an indicator of an individual's potential to connect to the Force. The higher the count of midichlorians in one's bloodstream, the stronger their connection to the Force could be. For example, Anakin Skywalker was the highest record midichlorian count at over 20,000 per cell, as mentioned in The Phantom Menace. As the episode progresses, it becomes apparent that what started as days stretched into weeks for Omega and Crosshair. The research conducted by the Empire is falling short of expectations, failing to produce the desired outcomes. Specifically, the blood samples they have collected cannot sustain midichlorians without causing them to degrade. These setbacks are partially attributed to Nala Se, a Kaminoan cloner with a unique bond to Omega. She has been intentionally removing Omega's blood samples from the test as she's aware that Omega's blood might successfully sustain midichlorians. This knowledge makes Omega a target of greater interest to the Empire, placing her in increased danger. The scene shifts to Hunter and Wrecker, who confront Issa Durand, the head of the Durand Syndicate, presenting her with the Pike who had double-crossed them. Issa Durand emerged as a notable crime lord of the Durand family, exerting her influences during the early years of the Imperial era. In return for handing over the Pike, they sought information on Dr. Royce Hemlock's facility with the aim of orchestrating a rescue mission for Omega. The intelligence they gathered led them to a distant planet, the site of a facility that had been abandoned. The Empire had once developed an experimental weapon there known as the Slither Vines. These appeared to be sentient tree vines at first glance, but upon full revelation, the creature closely resembles a Sarlacc pit. The Slither Vines become unmanageable, compelling the Empire to abandon the facility. However, a group of clone cadet children were left behind. These cadets assisted Hunter and Wrecker in navigating through the perilous wastelands of the Slither Vines to reach the facility's console. There, they obtained information pointing to a sector where Mount Tantis might be located. The narrative shifts back to Mount Tantis, where Nala Se is notified of an impending visitor, necessitating a pause in her blood testing activities. Consequently, Dr. Emery Carr is assigned to oversee her duties. Dr. Emery Carr, a human female clone derived from the genetic blueprint of the Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett, served as a scientist alongside Dr. Royce Hemlock at Mount Tantis. In contrast to Nala Se, she was willing to test all blood samples, including Omega's. Aware of this, Nala Se advised Omega that she must leave at once. The visitor expected to arrive was Emperor Palpatine, who was welcomed by Dr. Hemlock. Palpatine's visit aimed to receive an update on Project Necromancer. Although the precise nature of Project Necromancer remains undisclosed, it's plausible to refer that it is an operation focused on the manipulation of life and death. This could involve endeavors to resurrect the deceased, generate life, or alter life forces in unparalleled manners. Palpatine is escorted to a chamber housing clones, the specifics of which remain undisclosed. However, Palpatine remarks to Hemlock that their activities would be deemed abominable by many, though not by them. This is intriguing as it resonates with the description of Snoke from the sequel trilogy, who is depicted as a composite of various genetic materials and labeled an abomination. Given the context and hints, while it's not officially confirmed, it's a reasonable speculation to believe that the project could indeed involve Snoke or a similar entity. During Palpatine's visit, Omega and Crosshair seize the opportunity to flee into the wilderness. Following Palpatine's departure from the planet, Hemlock is notified of their escape and dispatches a retrieval team with the orders to capture them, dead or alive. Omega and Crosshair manage to overcome the troopers and commandeer their transport. It's worth noting that Crosshair is suffering from hand tremors, affecting his shooting accuracy. This condition mirrors Hemlock's own struggles with hand tremors, which seem to be deteriorating. I'm speculating that Hemlock has been examining Crosshair's unique mutation in hopes of finding a cure for his own condition. However, this process might have inadvertently compromised Crosshair's health. As they navigate their escape through space, they find themselves pursued by Imperial ships, which are on the verge of shooting them down. It's during this tense moment that Hemlock receives confirmation that Omega's blood is a viable host for midichlorians, as they do not degrade within her bloodstream. Armed with this vital information, Hemlock orders the pursuing fighters to stand down, as he does not want to risk harming Omega. His directives allow them to make their escape without further Imperial interference. Omega's ability to host midichlorians without degradation significantly enhances her importance within the Star Wars universe, specifically in the context of her force sensitivity and the broader implications for cloning technology. Here's what it could mean for her character. This ability could suggest that Omega has a unique connection to the Force, setting her apart from other clones and potentially making her one of the most significant characters in the universe in terms of understanding the Force and midichlorians. Her unique trait would make her a valuable asset or target for different groups within the galaxy, including the Empire, or depending on what time frame, the remnants of the Empire, the emerging New Republic, secretive Sith loyalists, or even Jedi seeking to understand the Force better. Given the mixed reactions to the episodes that tie into the sequel trilogy, it's understandable that fans are apprehensive. However, fleshing out the storylines of the sequels presents an opportunity to create a more coherent and enriched narrative. While I share the sentiment that the sequel trilogy seemed to lack planning and direction, acknowledging them as a permanent addition to the Star Wars saga is crucial. Here's why enhancing their backstory and connecting the dots can be beneficial. Expanding on the sequel trilogy storylines allows for a deeper exploration of its characters, settings, and themes. By adding layers to characters like Snoke or exploring the origins of the First Order, we can gain more nuanced understanding of their motivations and actions. This can transform seemingly one-dimensional characters into complex figures with rich backstories. Star Wars is celebrated for its vast and interconnected universe. By integrating the sequels more seamlessly with the rest of the saga, we reinforce the sense of a unified narrative. Filling in the gaps and addressing unanswered questions from the sequels can help align them with the overarching storyline, enhancing the continuity and cohesion of the entire series. Let's face it, not every aspect of the Star Wars saga has been universally praised. However, history has shown that later additions and retcons could significantly alter the perception of earlier works. By thoughtfully expanding on the sequels, there's a chance to redeem aspects of them that were underdeveloped or poorly received. This doesn't erase their flaws, but can recontextualize them in a way that adds value to the overall saga. But what do you guys think? Leave a comment below with your thoughts.